Hi guys, my name is Mike Berrien. I'm the president and founder of a company called Truebill Corporate Credit. We're going to go through specifically how to fill out the EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan application online today. They're going to give $10,000 probably within the next 3 to 5 days to everyone that fills this application out. There's only $10 billion available. We want to go through step by step how to fill it out correctly. There's about 5 videos on YouTube now. Some of them are YouTube kids that have 100,000 views that are telling you to lie on these applications with no idea what they're talking about. You want to make sure that you lie on a federal application. You also you don't want to watch a 20-minute dissertation from a CPA about things you don't need to know. So what you do need to know is that you want to fill this application out immediately because it's going to be first come, first serve. You're applying for a loan. The first $10,000 should come immediately. That's going to be a forgivable grant. So we're talking about the EIDL and how to fill that out correctly. We're not talking about the PPP program. We're going to be talking about that in the coming weeks, and that's the Paycheck Protection Program. Much bigger loans, much bigger amounts. You're going to need to have good business credit. They're no PG loans. You're going to need to have legitimate payroll for last year. But let's just go through, and we'll start now on the first screen. So again, if you're a gig economy worker, if you're a subcontractor, if you're a sole prop, if you're a corporation owner, any business in America today needs to be filling this information out correctly and quickly.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda and I am the program director here at Truebill, and I'm so excited to be here on the front lines to put 2 decades worth of industry experience to work to help small business owners like yourself. Now, what we're going to be doing today is completing the application for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, the EIDL it's being called. And what that is the first phase of the economic stimulus package that was just released by the government and the SBA to provide $10 billion in funding to provide advances of up to $10,000 for about 1 million companies. Now, that's an advance that does not have to be paid back, so it's kind of like a grant. So time is definitely of the essence, so let's get started. So as you can see, and we'll have the link down at the bottom of the page for you to go to get to the application. But so this is the first page of the application, and it starts out with just some eligibility verification. And so you'll go to this first section and you will find the selection that best fits your company. I believe most of us are going to fall within these first 2 selections, and so that's going to either be that you're a business with not more than 500 employees, or that the application is an individual that operates under a sole proprietorship with or without employees as an independent contractor. So for this application, we'll go ahead and choose number 1. And then just as a side note, if you are a nonprofit, there is a selection for that down here at the bottom. So in the second section, you're going to want to be able to check each of those boxes in regard to the operation of your business activity. And so you can go ahead and read through each of those just for respect of time. We're not going to read them all through, but you'll be able to go ahead and decide if all of those pertain to you, and then go on to the next page of the application. Now in here, basic business information, you'll want to have just basic numbers like your gross revenues for 2019 as well as your cost of goods sold. And we'll just start by going ahead and putting in some information here. And we're just going to put in some fictitious information. And so the first one is your business's legal name on your formation documents. You're either going to want to be an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC, or a sole proprietorship. However you're filed, you're going to want to put that name in there. The second one is your trade name. So if you maybe have a DBA other than your corporate name, you'll want to put that in there. But for the purposes of this application, we'll just go ahead and say that John's Plumbing operates as John's Plumbing. And then either your EIN or your social security number for your sole proprietorship. If you are incorporated or an LLC, you're going to have an EIN. And so we'll just go ahead and put in any number here to get us to the next thing. And then your organization type, again, LLC, sole proprietor, C Corp, S Corp, so on and so forth. And then are you a nonprofit? Yes or no. Are you a franchise? Yes or no. And here we put the gross revenues. So it says through January 31st of 2020. A lot of people don't necessarily have their figures for the onset of 2020, so you can just go ahead and put in whatever your number is for 2019. So we'll just go ahead and put a number in. And then your cost of goods sold. Typically you'll know that by any profit and loss statements or any audited financials that you have for your company or your tax returns. So we'll just go ahead and put in whatever number in there. And then the next question is rental properties only, lost rents due to the disaster. That's only going to apply to you if you actually have rents because you have tenants or whatnot. And then nonprofit cost of operation prior to the date of the disaster. And again, that's only going to apply to you if you're a nonprofit organization. And then combined annual operating expenses for the 12 months prior to the date of the disaster for all secular social services provided by the faith-based entities. So that's only going to apply to you if you are a faith-based entity. And so you would put that number in there if you have that. For this application, we're not, so we're not going to put anything in there. And then you're going to want to list what those activities were if you did put a number in there in this next box. The next box is compensation from other sources received as a result of the disaster. So if you have not received any other compensation due to this disaster, which is likely you're not because we're just in the beginning phases of this, you're just going to put 0. If you did put a number in there, you're going to want to describe what that is in the next box. And then here you're going to put your business address. You're going to want to put whatever address that you have on your formation documents, and if you were, a member of our service, then you would also know that typically you want to have that match what you have on your Dun & Bradstreet, your Experian, and your Equifax profiles. Hopefully you know that. If not, we can definitely help you out with that, but just for the purposes of the application, we're going to go ahead and put in an address, and then you're going to want to put your business phone number in. And if you have an alternative business phone, go ahead and put that, as well as your fax number. They're not required, but the more information, the better whenever you're filling out an application. And then your company email. This next field, the date the business was established. So you're going to put the date that you filed your formation documents. And current ownership since. Now that's going to be the same as your formation documents, unless you purchased your company from somebody else. And then the next field is your business activity. So typically that is your industry. And so we'll just pick something. You just forgot to format that date properly. And then they want some more details of your business activity. Next field is the number of employees as of January 31st, 2020. That typically means number of W-2'd employees. A lot of information out there on other YouTube says, you can put down yourself, your family members, your 1099s that you file. But typically the government considers an employee anybody that you W-2, so you definitely want to put that number in there. On to the next page. This is going to be business owner information. First question is your business owned by another business entity? Typically for most people that's going to be no, unless maybe you have an LLC that owns the current company that you are filing for, or a parent company, a holding company, anything like that. So just go ahead and answer that question as it applies to you. And then we're going to go ahead and put in our owner information and cell phone number and whatever your title is as the owner of your company, and then the percentage. Now, if the company ownership is more than one person, you're going to want to put at least 80% ownership on this application. So if it's 50-50, make sure you put down the information for both owners, and there will be a box down at the bottom to add additional owners. And then your company email, your social security number, your birth date, and then where you were born. Again, you want to be as accurate as possible so that your data matches up. Even on right here where you're going to put down your, obviously yes or no, you're a U.S. citizen, but on your residential address, here you want to match up this data for whatever might be on your driver's license or on your personal credit reports, because typically they're going to go through some identity verification, maybe even pull your personal credit reports. So you want to make sure that you put your correct information down here. Okay, and then here's that box if you need to put an additional owner in. We're just going to go ahead and go next to the next page. Now, this additional information, typically for SBA loans, you're going to want to be able to say no to all of these questions, and they're all in regard to background of the owners. And so you can go ahead and read through those, answer them as accurately and honestly as you can. Just because this is all new, we don't know if they've relaxed these stipulations as far as any criminal activity in your past. But again, just answer them as honestly as you can, and just, however that may pan out for you. Now, in this section is if somebody is helping you complete this application, you're going to want to put their information in here and give the SBA permission to discuss this application with this person. Typically, if you're doing this application yourself, you're going to leave all of that blank. Now, this box you want to go ahead and check that you want to be considered for the advance of up to $10,000, and then put in your bank information. So bank name, your account number, and your routing number. And then you're just going to read through here. You're authorizing the SBA to check credit of both yourself and your company on this application. Read through here, and then know also that you need to check this box saying that you are certifying that all the information is true and correct. And then you're going to click next to go to the summary page. You're going to want to read through this summary of all the information that you filled out. There is a little box here to edit any information you need to go back and correct. If maybe you entered something in here wrong, you just want to read through here, make sure it's all correct in each of the sections. And then you're going to want to click that you're not a robot, hopefully you're not, and submit the application. And then you're going to get on the next page come up a confirmation, and in that confirmation you're going to see an application number with the number that you have here, as well as a control number for your application. And this will be, you want to keep this page, go ahead and print it, and when you get contacted by the SBA in regard to your application, have this information ready. And that's about it. You successfully submitted the application, got your place in line for that $10,000 advance. And we here at Truebill, we wish the best for you and hope this pans out well for you. Thank you so much.